I sat courtside for the Indiana Fever's very first preseason game against the Washington Mystics, and I have so much to tell you guys, so let's jump right in. What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. I literally just got back from Indiana about an hour ago, and I had to come in here and sit down and film a video for you guys because I wanted to share with you guys my firsthand experience sitting courtside at Gamebridge for the Indiana Fever's very first preseason game against the Washington Mystics. I feel like there was so much that went on during that game. Of course, Caitlin Clark didn't play, so we got to see the Indiana Fever in a new light without their floor general on the court. We got to see Coach Stephanie White in action for the very first time. I was actually sitting one row behind the Washington Mystics bench, so I also got to see a lot of the dynamics and what was going on with them. I had amazing seats. I had an amazing time. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I saw, my initial reactions, what I thought of the game, and I also wanted to clear up some of the narratives and the rumors that are also already circling online from someone who was there in attendance. So there's so much to go over, and I have a lot to tell you guys. So let's jump right in. I actually took some notes last night because I didn't want to forget anything when I was filming this video. But firstly, I wanted to tell you guys about my travel into Indiana because I actually thought that I might not even make the game. So on Friday here in Texas, we were having severe storms and my flight to Indiana actually got canceled. Now, there are not many direct flights to Indiana, and the only other direct flight on Saturday, yesterday, wouldn't have gotten me into Indiana on time to go to the game. And so I had to wake up at 3 a.m., take a 5 a.m. flight with a layover to get to Indy around 11 a.m., which is only 2 hours before the game started. So I rushed from the airport to the hotel, got ready super quick. I actually wanted to get to the game a little bit earlier than I did. I only ended up getting there about 45 minutes early. So I missed the individual shoot around warm-ups on the court, but I did get to see their new intro video and the players running out and all of those good things. But also, you guys, on Friday night, as I'm getting the notification that my flight was canceled to Indiana, I'm also getting the notification that Caitlin Clark is listed as questionable for the game. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, you probably saw some of my posts about it. I was so bummed because, obviously if she is injured, it makes sense for her to sit out. After seeing the game yesterday, I'm kind of glad that she sat out because that game got so physical. But I was super bummed about it. And then in that same time frame, I was not even sure if I was going to be able to make it to the game. So when the news broke that she wasn't playing, a lot of people were tweeting that they weren't going to go if she's not playing. So I was actually curious, and I went to look at the tickets for the game. I had bought my tickets a couple months ago, and I was looking to see what the prices would be like if there were tickets available, and there actually were a ton of tickets available, and the prices had dropped significantly. Now, was that because people were trying to sell their tickets because they weren't going to go because of Caitlin, or was that because it was just the day before the game and so people who were trying to resell tickets just start dropping the prices? That I am not sure, but I was also unsure going to the game the next day if the arena was going to be full, and that's also something that I wanted to talk about. So when I did get to the game, so the arena was pretty full. I know that there are a lot of photos circling online right now saying like Gamebridge was only half full. I don't know when those photos were taken. I have tons of photos and videos that I took during the game, and I will put some of them up here so you guys can see my view and the kind of crowd that I was seeing. For the first, second, and third quarter, that place was pretty full. Now, the upper bowl was not full. There was definitely a lot of seats in the upper bowl, but the 100s levels, 200s levels, the courtside area was all packed. It was very full. The crowd was lively. It was a more lively crowd than you would expect for a preseason game. Now, something I did think was interesting is a lot of people left in the fourth quarter, and the game was really close, and it went into overtime, and I've never witnessed people leaving during overtime. Even if, at that time, neither of the teams were playing their starters. It was rookies and some of the bench players who were playing during overtime, but still, it's overtime. I don't know why people wouldn't stay for that, but that was a time where I did notice during overtime that it was getting pretty empty. So When those photos were taken, I'm not sure, but I'm here to tell you that I don't think those photos do it justice to how many people were actually in the stands and in the arena that game. So that morning leading up to the game, I wasn't on social media because I didn't want to know if Caitlin was playing or not until I got to the game. I was like, let me just see what happens. I was gonna be bummed if she wasn't playing, but still excited to see the rest of this Indiana Fever team. So the team has a new intro that they played on the Jumbotron, and then the team ran out, and obviously Caitlin Clark was not a part of that.
So she didn't come out for warm-ups, and then I just saw Caitlin Clark will not play today versus the Mystics. She'll play tomorrow.
And as the team was warming up, she was underneath the basket in a gray hoodie and some sweatpants, and she was rebounding for the team. Maybe it's just how serious Caitlin Clark is, but she looked really unhappy. It was almost like she was itching to just get a shot up. She was kind of pacing around, passing to her teammates. Like, she seemed in good spirits, but it did seem like she wanted to play. I did not see her shoot one shot, like not even rebound for a teammate and then just do a little layup, shoot a three, nothing. She was just kind of walking around, being supportive of her team. She did not run anywhere. I didn't see her being super active. She was wearing sweatpants, so we couldn't see if she had a brace or any sort of tape anywhere on her legs. It seemed like they were keeping that, really tight as to what is actually going on with her body, if she is injured, how serious it is. Now, from everything that I am reading, she will be playing in Iowa today. So hopefully she's good. Hopefully it was just super precautionary. But that is when I found out, because I was trying to stay off the internet, that is when I found out that she truly wasn't going to be playing in the game. And as bummed as I was for that, I still loved watching this team, and I was still so excited to see the rest of the players. And obviously I would love to see, and at some point I will get to see Caitlin Clark play in person. I have yet to see her play in person, but it was really cool to see this Indiana Fever's team dynamic without her. And we also got some good indications as to who is going to be playing point guard when Caitlin Clark isn't on the court. I was bummed, but I was also so excited to see so many other players play, including some of the players on the Washington Mystics, like Lucy Olsen, like Kiki Iriafen, like Sonia Citron. I was really excited to see those rookie debuts. I do want to go over that later on in the video. So I do want to talk about the point guard situation, because Sydney Colson started the game. It was Sydney Colson, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. Sydney Colson started the game, but Sophie was the first player off the bench. And I believe that she went in for either DB or Natasha Howard. But when Sophie went into the game, even with Sydney Colson on the floor, Sophie was running the point guard position. So it seems like to me that Sophie might actually be the backup point guard for Caitlin Clark. Now, if you guys watched the game yesterday, you know that Sophie went off. She had an incredible game. She had so much energy. She was all over the court. I think she played 35 minutes. That was also something that shocked me about that game yesterday. The starters played so many minutes. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Even if Caitlin Clark was playing, I was like, play her 5 minutes. Like, she might only play 5 minutes and then get her off the court. The starters will probably play 15 to 20 minutes max. No, these girls played a lot. They played a lot, and I think part of that was because the game was really close and the Washington Mystics started off really hot. Like, they were leading for most of the game, but these players played a lot of minutes. Sophie and Lexie, coming off the bench, stepped up big time. Both of them came in with some crazy energy, both on the offensive side and the defensive side, and that was really cool to see. And Sophie was the whole reason that they even went into overtime. Without Sophie, they would not have won that game. She hit 2 clutch free throws at the end of the fourth quarter to send it into overtime. So she did amazing. I was super impressed with her game. That's my mom's new favorite player. She loved watching Sophie play. Also, you guys, I was wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey and my mom was wearing my Georgia Amore college t-shirt. I was actually unsure if Georgia was even going to travel with the Washington Mystics, but she did. She was on the bench and she was almost acting as an assistant coach. Like, she had a little clipboard herself. She was in the huddle with the players. Back to some some other things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the physicality of the game. So when the game started off, it was definitely a really fast-paced, up and down game. I was impressed with the speed of the game. There were a lot of just little things, which you would expect in preseason. A lot of missed layups, missed bunnies, silly turnovers, silly fouls that we were seeing in the beginning of the game. I feel like even Natasha Howard was someone who I don't think she played that great. And she missed a lot of bunnies that I don't think we're going to see her miss during the season. But that is someone who I expect to give a lot more on the court moving forward. DeWanna Bonner was somebody who she's after it on all ends of the court, but also definitely a leader on the court. She was so much of a vocal leader for this team. Kelsey Mitchell did well, but she was getting pushed around a lot. And by pushed around, I mean, let's talk about the refs because it was, hi, Sunny. Hi, buddy. It got really physical. So I felt like the first quarter was good. After that, it got a little bit too physical. And I know that there's a clip going around of Kiki Iriafen's flagrant 1 foul on Sophie where she kind of chucks her to the ground. There was also a moment when Brittany Sykes pushes Sophie. Like there was quite a few flagrant fouls, technical fouls in this game. Lexie Hull had a take foul, which wasn't even that aggressive of a play, but there's a lot of fouls this game and there's a lot of missed calls in this game also. Like I was right behind the Mystics bench, like I said, so I heard their coach going off on the ref the whole game, like cursing out the refs the whole game. And then I also had a direct line of vision to Coach Stephanie White. She was pissed the entire game. Like when I tell you, I don't know what she said to the media. And again, I haven't really even been checking everything. To me, she looked unhappy with how her players were playing pretty much the entire game. She did make some good adjustments. She changed around lineups a bit, but I also don't think she was expecting to play some of her bigger name players as much as she did because the game got super physical. There was a time that Kelsey was pushed to the ground and she was rubbing her hip. She seemed like she was in some sort of pain. There was time towards the end of the game. I forget what even happened, but Sophie went down and it looked like she tweaked her ankle a little bit. And again, she's super tough. She shook it off and went right back in and played completely fine. But there are these little things. I was like, they are getting beat up out there. I think early on, Sophie got hit in the mouth. Lexie got thrown to the ground. Like DB was having to step up and be the enforcer in this game. But I don't even at this point blame the players on the other team. I blame the referees and I blame the league because one thing that the NBA did is they cut out that physicality. The NBA knows that there is entertainment value in teams scoring a lot of points and being able to get offenses going. So the NBA literally changed rules to favor the offense. Now in the WNBA, it's always going to be a little bit more physical because girls do not play above the rim. They're on the ground. So things are going to be a little bit more physical in that sense, but they have to tighten up. They have to tighten up with the rules and they have to tighten up with what the referees are calling because some of this stuff is stuff that can lead to injury. But what I will say, sometimes in person, it's harder to get the full effect of some of those big physical plays that are happening because we really only see the replay on the Jumbotron like once or twice. I know on television, they're going over it, putting it in slow-mo, doing all of these things. So I wasn't able, like the Kiki Iriafen throwdown, I saw them get chippy and start going after each other in that moment, but I didn't really get to see it in slow-mo, see what actually happened until I logged onto Twitter. That narrative is getting a little bit out of control and it's day one. Like we're all gonna have to chill out a little bit with the fandom, with how sensitive we get, with how much we turn little things into big things. People should not be cheering for players throwing down other players. And I actually don't think that Kiki's, the way that she did it was malicious in any way. I don't think in her mind she was like, oh, I don't like Sophie, let me just toss her to the ground, because Kiki had a great game. Like she was battling with players all game and the internet is turning this into her having a vendetta against Sophie. It's very strange. We got to cool it. So one other thing that I did want to address is a tweet that I put out yesterday after the game, because after the game, I noticed that immediately after overtime, the coaches from both teams came, shook hands, did the little handshake line, and then both teams huddled after the game. Then after that, the Mystics team went directly to the locker room, and there seemed to be players from Indiana who thought that they were going to go and dap up players from the other team, do a handshake line. I know they don't technically do handshake lines in the WNBA, but normally normally in pro sports, there's some sort of coming together of the players. You know, we have the jersey swaps, which not saying they would do that during preseason, but they do a jersey swap, or you'll see, you know, star players going up and talking to one another after the game, doing a dap up, a hug, something. You know what I mean? There's normally some sort of, when the game ends, players from both teams are coming together in some sort of way. Maybe not all of them, maybe some go straight to the locker room, but some of them will talk in some capacity. And what I saw, and also what somebody noted to me, is there were some rookies on the Mystic team who were waiting to do a handshake line or to address players from the Indiana Fever. But there were definitely players on the Fever who they huddled and then they turned and they were looking and they kind of looked like, oh, what's going on? And then they were waving. They were waving to the players as they were walking off the court, but the Mystics literally just turned and walked off the court. I tweeted about that and I offended a lot of people, and people were saying that I was spreading hate, which, again, you guys need to calm down. I was telling you what I observed. Everyone needs to calm down. This was not me trying to stir up drama. It was what I observed. I didn't know what was going on either, because I thought I was going to see some sort of fraternizing. I don't even know if that's the word, but you know what I mean. Coming together of the players on these two separate teams. And I didn't. And it seemed like some players on the Fever and also on the Mystics wanted to do that. Why they didn't, I do not know. If it is something in the WNBA where they rarely talk to one another, you guys let me know. I thought I had seen that last year, where players from opposite teams would talk to each other after the game. We didn't see anything. Take with that information as you want. Last thing I want to talk about, the Mystics rookies. I was so impressed with them. And I was also so impressed that they got playing time within the first quarter of the game. That was Lucy Olsen, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Iriafen. I thought all of them played great. If we talk about Sonia Citron, if I had never seen her play before, if I didn't know who she was, I would have thought she was a 5-year vet in the WNBA. She was so smooth out there, so composed, played with so much confidence. I was just truly, truly impressed with what she did on the court. And I think if that's any indication of what we will see from her during this WNBA season, she's going to be great. If I dare say, I think she looked better on this WNBA team. Like, she fit in a little bit better in the WNBA even than she did in college. So to make that leap, like, her body looks great. She looks strong. She was hanging in there on offense and defense. And I just thought I was super impressed with her game. And there was a moment too where her and DeWanna Bonner were checking in at the very same time. And I just thought that was so cool, because it's someone like DeWanna Bonner, who's a superstar and a veteran in the WNBA, checking in with somebody who I see as a future star in the WNBA. So that was really cool. Lucy Olsen was also somebody, I didn't know how much time she was going to get. We haven't seen too much of her stuff from the Washington Mystics training camp and preseason. Lucy looked amazing. She was so confident out there. She was playing point guard at times. She looked great on offense and defense. She had a couple of her mid-range shots, her signature Lucy Olsen mid-range. I thought she looked great out there. I was cheering for her as well. I was actually really bummed because I ordered an I Love Lucy Olsen merch sweatshirt a few weeks ago and it still hasn't come in. And I was hoping to wear that, plus my mom wearing the Georgia Amore t-shirt and the Caitlin Clark jersey that I was wearing. But anyway, I was still cheering for her. I was cheering for players on both teams. Don't hate me for that. I was just there for a good game, but I was so excited to see how well Lucy was doing. Like, that was super, super cool. And like I said about Kiki as well, I thought she did great and she looked so strong in the post. She was battling with the bigs in Indiana and she was very physical out there. Obviously, you know, you don't like to see the overly physical plays from her and her throwing down Sophie, but I think that's something with Kiki. I think she's going to fit in just fine in the WNBA, and I thought she played great as well. Obviously, on the Fever side, players that stood out to me, Sophie. The Fever wouldn't have been in that game without her. She came out there with so much confidence, hit down big shots, made her free throws, was active on defense, was all over the floor, just did everything, and was also so vocal. She was so entertaining to watch. She was hyping up the crowd. Somebody else who was hyping up the crowd also was Caitlin Clark. So I got to see her a lot on the bench, and you guys have probably seen some social media clips online. She was in the huddle. She was kind of acting as an assistant coach coach as well. She was in there. She was hyping up her players. She was chirping the refs a lot, which we normally get from Caitlin Clark when she's in the game. And there were so many times that she was over there chirping the refs and being like, what is this? So she couldn't help herself there. To me, it did seem like she was itching to be on the floor. And if she could have been on the court, she would have been on the court. So overall, you guys, it was so much fun. I also got this shirt. So shout out to Noah from the Indiana Fever for giving me some exclusive training gear. I decided to wear this and be super chill on our Sunday morning filming today. Also, I got to meet so many Courtside Club members. Like, so many of you came up and said hello, took photos, we chatted a little bit, and that was really cool too. Like, I'm so grateful for you guys for subscribing, watching my videos, and I'm going to continue covering the league, covering basketball in general, giving you guys great content. So all the support, subscriptions, if you guys see me in public, always please come say hello. Do not be scared. I love to meet you guys. And so got to meet a handful of you guys there, which was, yeah, it meant a lot. So thank you to everyone who came up and said hello. Also, I saw Hannah Hidalgo there. She was there to support Sonia. So we took a selfie together. But otherwise, I just wanted to film today and share with you guys my initial reaction. It was so much fun. I'm hoping to get to another game. Like, I gotta get to a game where I can see all of the players on the court. It's just really, really hard with my travel schedule over the summer because I start sideline reporting once again for the Big Three starting next month. And with that, I am traveling to a new city every single weekend. So adding any other travel on top of that, even with my other work that I do during the summer, it just can sometimes be a lot. So if I'm able to get to another game, I absolutely will. But if not, we'll do some live streams here. We will live react to games and I will give you guys all the updates, but that's long enough for this video. I'm gonna go now. I do plan on going live for the game in Iowa, so make sure that you subscribe and stay tuned in just a couple hours because we will be live for that. But with that, you guys, I'm out of breath and I downed so much coffee and I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week and sometimes on Sunday. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you next time. Ooh, and